If you want to eat healthy food that's also delicious, but you don't want to spend a lot of time making it, this is the video for you because today I'm showing 4 different recipes that you can make for an easy and nutritious dinner that all require 20 minutes or less of your personal hands-on time. Oh yeah, they're also all vegan, and this video is sponsored by Thrive Market. I don't want to waste your time, so let's get into the first recipe. First up, we're going to be making this dump and bake teriyaki tofu rice casserole. This has only about 15 minutes of prep time and the oven does all the work for you, which is why I love this recipe for a busy weeknight. We're going to start out by bringing our liquids to a boil. So we're adding some soy sauce, coconut sugar, mirin, garlic, ginger, and water together in a medium pot. Then we're going to cover this and bring this to a boil over high heat. And in the meantime, we're just dumping everything else into a casserole dish, hence the name dump and bake. So we've got some broccoli crowns cut into about bite-sized pieces. We're also adding in some sliced shiitake mushrooms, some carrots, and some super firm tofu, plus a little bit of green onions. I like to save the extra green part as a garnish at the end. Mix all of this up until it's evenly distributed. Then we're just going to sprinkle our dry white rice over the top of the casserole dish. And then we're going to pour our liquid once it's reached a boil over the casserole. And here you just want to mix it up a bit with a spatula. I try to make sure all of the rice is submerged. As you mix it, it sort of falls into the dish, which is why I like to sprinkle it on top so you don't get a solid layer of rice on the bottom. But once that's all mixed, you're going to cover it. My casserole dish has a lid, but you could also use tin foil. And then we're going to bake this for about 45 minutes. This is what it looked like once it's done. The rice should be nice and fully cooked. And we're just going to give everything a good mix with the spatula so it's all nice and evenly distributed. If your seal on your casserole dish isn't fully tight, you may need to bake it a little while longer, but 45 minutes always seems to work well for me. Then here I'm just garnishing the casserole dish with my sliced green onions and some sesame seeds, and you are good to serve. I love this recipe because it's packed with veggies, super easy to customize with whatever veggies you have in the fridge, and super satisfying as well. If you don't want to spend a lot of time making your dinners, I'm also guessing you're the kind of person who doesn't want to spend a lot of time shopping for groceries or shopping around trying to find the best grocery prices. That's why I love Thrive Market, who's the sponsor of today's video. Thrive Market is an online membership-based grocery store with the mission to make healthy living easy and affordable for everyone. I've been using Thrive Market for years and I love it because they have the best deals on all of my favorite organic, vegan, gluten-free foods, and it makes it so easy for me to shop for them because I just order them online and they're delivered right to my doorstep. The Thrive Market website also makes it incredibly easy to shop for your own dietary restrictions, preferences, or food values in general using all of the filter options that they have in their search function. I just placed a restock order using some of my favorite products from Thrive Market, so I'll show you what I got. We love pasta over here, so I got some of my favorite gluten-free chickpea pasta, some of Thrive Market's organic wheat-based pasta, and I also got gluten-free ramen noodles. I also stocked up on some more organic low-sodium tamari, pasta sauce, creamy peanut butter, Dijon mustard, the best olives, aka Castelvetrano olives. I also got some snacks. I really love these lupini beans. And I also got some einkorn crackers. They're like organic sourdough crackers. These are really good if you haven't tried them. Also got some of our favorite chili crisp. And Thrive Market doesn't only have food products. I also get my favorite toothpaste on Thrive Market. And I purchased their house brand of dishwasher powder. We use this in our dishwasher over there to keep our dishes nice and clean. And I also got these caffeinated energy bars as a free gift with my order. As you can see, Thrive Market has a wide variety of products for any lifestyle, and they really want to make it work for you. You can choose to join on a month-to-month basis, or you can save more by signing up for Thrive Market on a yearly basis, which equates to only $5 a month. And I guarantee you're going to make that up in your savings. I save so much on every order I make. Plus, every order over $49 ships free. So if you live in the United States and you want to check out Thrive Market, I have a special offer for you. Go to thrivemarket.com/shoemaker. The link will be in the description of this video. And when you sign up for Thrive Market, you'll get 30% off of your first order in addition to all the savings you're already gonna get, plus a free gift worth up to $60. So take advantage of this deal if you wanna save on some groceries. You'll be seeing a lot of these ingredients in these meals, so it's a great way to save money on your groceries and then use those ingredients to make some easy dinners. So with that being said, let's get on to the next recipe, which is 1 pot or pan pasta. This recipe is not for all of the Italian grandmothers rolling over in their graves right now. I apologize in advance. But it is a very convenient dinner and a great way to get in a ton of veggies. This recipe is more hands-on, but it still comes together in just about 20 minutes, and it's so customizable for whatever you have in your fridge. The great thing about this recipe too, most of the hands-on time, like active thinking, is just you chopping all of your veggies, because we're literally just going to add everything to a pot and simmer it until the pasta is cooked. So, you know, you could easily be like reading a book or doing something else while you're stirring a bit. We're gonna start with 8 ounces of pasta. My hack for this recipe to make it even easier is to use like a protein bean-based pasta. So today I'm using this chickpea pasta because this whole box has, I don't actually know, 11 times 4, 44 grams of protein. So it's a great way to get some protein in. It has a little bit more than wheat-based pasta. That being said, you could totally use like regular wheat-based pasta and then add in like a can of chickpeas to this too. The recipe is very forgiving as long as you're using the same amount of pasta and liquid and sauce that the recipe calls for. You can pretty much change up the veggies, add things in, subtract things, and it's gonna work. Now that our pasta's on the bottom, we're gonna add the rest of our veggies. We have about 8 ounces of tomatoes, half of a yellow onion. I like to slice mine, but you could also dice it. Then we're gonna add about 3 ounces of sliced mushrooms. I'm using cremini mushrooms. Again, you could use button mushrooms, or, you know, if you're not a fan of mushrooms, just leave the mushrooms out. I'm also adding in 1 small zucchini that I just quartered up. About 2 cloves of minced garlic. I like things spicy, so I'm adding in half a teaspoon of chili flakes. And then we're also adding in half a teaspoon of salt, because there's a lot of veggies in here, and that just brings the seasoning to the appropriate level. I do also add spinach, but we're adding that later on. Unless you like really overcooked spinach, then you could add it now. Give all of your dry ingredients a good mix until they're evenly distributed. Then we'll also add in some water and pasta sauce. Then all you need to do is bring this to a boil on the stove over a high heat. Then we'll reduce the heat to medium heat and cook the pasta for about 10 to 14 minutes until it's al dente. So this will depend slightly on the pasta, just check as you go. And you really only need to stir every 2 minutes or so to prevent anything from sticking to the bottom of the pan. Then just turn the heat off, fold in the spinach, and once it's wilted, we can divide into serving bowls and enjoy. I topped mine with some vegan Parmesan cheese, but it's also really good with nutritional yeast or just as is. This recipe is so good, and I feel like the starch from the pasta also makes the sauce a little more creamy too. And you're eating like 5 different veggies in this, and it's like pasta. So good, perfect weeknight dinner. As with all the other recipes, this one will be linked below. So now let's get on to the next easy weeknight dinner. This one's a really easy one. Next, we're making another Asian-inspired dish with these 10-minute peanut noodles. This recipe comes together so fast. You're going to start by adding some peanut butter into a bowl. Actually, you should cook your noodles if they take a long time, but here's how you make the sauce. We're also going to add in tamari, garlic, vinegar, sugar, sesame oil, and chili garlic sauce if you like things a little spicy like me. Then we're just going to whisk this together until a thick paste forms so everything's evenly distributed. And then we're going to add a little bit of water and whisk until the sugar has fully dissolved. If the sauce is too thick at this point, you can thin it out with some extra water if you would like. Then we're just going to cook our noodles. I'm using udon noodles here, which take about 10 to 12 minutes to cook, but you could also use rice noodles or vermicelli noodles, which cook in like 1 to 2 minutes if you want this to be even faster. And then we're just going to transfer them to a pan, add the sauce, and warm this over low heat until everything's coated and delicious. Also, if the sauce is too thick at this point, you could add some water and toss it here as well. I like to top mine with some sliced green onions and crushed peanuts, but if you want more protein, you could also mix this with some frozen edamame or add some frozen mixed veggies for some extra color in veggies. But this is a great like lazy meal that's really satisfying and delicious. It's my go-to when I just like can't be bothered to cook and don't want to spend any time in the kitchen at all. So we've made a very simple casserole, 1 pot pasta, more simple noodles. One thing we're missing for an easy weeknight meal is a sheet pan dinner, and that's what this final recipe is going to be. I'm going to be showing you how to make my sheet pan Dijon garlic veggies and chickpeas, or that's what the recipe is called on my blog. The recipe title is too long, but it's actually very easy to make this recipe. It's just going to be a veggie chickpea meal with an added bonus of a salad that you can make as well. I went ahead and pre-prepped all of my veggies today. I'm using potatoes, bell pepper, and carrot. Some of them are trying to run away. This is what the recipe calls for, but like all the recipes I've been saying, everything I've been mentioning. Super easy to customize. You could use broccoli instead, green beans. Totally mix and match the veggies to your own personal preference. The first thing we're gonna do is actually make our veggie marinade, which is where the Dijon garlic comes in. This recipe is actually inspired by my Dijon garlic potato recipe. It's so good, and I was like, I want this in a full meal. So I added more veggies, we're adding some chickpeas, and now it's a full meal. I mean, potatoes could be a full meal too, but we're trying to be a little more balanced here. So we're going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil to a bowl. We're also going to add 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, which if you're a yellow mustard hater, can't relate, but give Dijon mustard a try. It's very different, and it also cooks out a lot in this recipe. So it's not like the final dish is just gonna taste like straight up mustard. We're also adding garlic. This is about 3 cloves minced. And then we're also gonna be very generous with the salt and pepper. Now we're going to use our whisk to whisk this up until it's well emulsified. Add in your veggies, give them a good toss, and we'll spread them out across 2/3 of our baking tray. Then just push this off to the side. We're going to work on our chickpeas. You'll notice that this bowl is still a little dirty, and we're going to use the leftover marinade on our chickpeas, so we do not waste anything. I have a can of chickpeas that I have rinsed and drained here, but before I put it in the marinade, I'm just going to, make sure you guys can see, put it on a clean kitchen towel. You could also use paper towels, but I just like to use a kitchen towel because it's a little less wasteful. Just spread our chickpeas out, and we're going to roll them around a bit and pat them dry. The reason we're doing this is because the extra water is really not good for making things crispy in the oven. So we just want our chickpeas to be a little more dry, so once they go in the oven, they get nice and crispy and don't become waterlogged and soggy, because you know, I don't know if I've ever had a scenario where the adjectives waterlogged or soggy sounded appetizing in a food sense. Marinade's back. I'm actually just gonna turn my towel into like a little funnel and dump my chickpeas in this bowl. This is where a spatula comes in handy because we've got a lot of marinade up on the sides when I was dumping the veggies out. We're just going to give the chickpeas a nice gentle toss. This lightly coats them. We really don't need a lot for the chickpeas though. I think the salt that I used earlier was good, but I like a little extra black pepper, so I'm going to add that as well. And then all I'm going to do is spread the chickpeas out on this open space that I left on the baking tray. Make sure they got some space. It's okay if we got a little intermingling going on, but generally we like to keep things a little separated for now. And just like that, our veggie prep is done. So we're going to put this in a oven preheated to 415 degrees for 30 to 35 minutes on the top rack so it gets nice and crispy. If you just want to roast the veggies and be done, I think that is totally fine. The recipe calls to serve them with parsley, so you're still getting some greens there. But I am going to go ahead and make a kale salad, which the recipe does call for. So, you know, the world is your vegan oyster. You can do whatever you want. So I have already destemmed and washed some kale. First thing I'm going to do is just chop this up. I like my kale in like relatively small pieces, so I'm going to cut it like so. But you know, if you like larger pieces of kale, again, the world is your vegan oyster. I know some people find the process of washing and de-stemming kale to be incredibly annoying, and on some days I am that kind of person. So if this kale is too daunting for you, but you still like the concept of a salad, you could also just do this exact same thing with spinach or a bag of leafy greens, or I think arugula would actually be really good with the mustard, and just don't massage it like I'm about to show you. So now for our super simple dressing, would you look at that? We're using our bowl for a third time. Not 2 times, 3 times. I am like a low waste queen today. Unfortunately, there's not much left in our bowl. So we just didn't rinse it out because we're adding pretty much like the same ingredients. We're making a super simple dressing. We need about a tablespoon of olive oil, about a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. I'm adding a little more because I really like Dijon mustard. And then this time we need acid because we're making a dressing. So we're going to add the juice of half of a lemon. That lemon was kind of dry, so I am going to use the full lemon. I also like things extra lemony. Use a full lemon at your own risk. Then again, just gonna go in with a little salt and pepper. And we're gonna whisk this up again until it's nice and emulsified. Then we're just going to add our kale in and massage it into the dressing until it becomes dramatically reduced in size. The salad is pretty light on the dressing, but I find that the marinade on the oven roasted veggies balances everything out really well. Made our salad. I also went ahead and chopped my parsley for the final garnish. And our cooking time is about halfway through. Give it all a little bit of a toss, still keeping the chickpeas and the veggie separate so the chickpeas get a little more crispy. I'm getting a Dijon mustard facial right now. I can feel my pores tightening and my blackheads disappearing. We're just gonna pop this back in the oven and I'll talk to you guys again when it's time to plate everything up. I'm gonna start by adding some of my massaged kale to the bowl and top it off with the roasted veggies, some of the crispy chickpeas, and last but not least, a little sprinkle of parsley. I love this because it's so easy to make, but it looks so vibrant and colorful, and we're getting lots of veggies, got some protein, complex carbs, healthy fats, and it's all super delicious. Also really great for meal prep. I'm actually really hungry, so I'm gonna go enjoy my dinner, but I'll go ahead and end the video now. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and if you have any requests for future videos, leave a comment down below. As always, all of the recipes are linked in the description of this video. If you want to check them out, you can print them, save them for later by heading over to my blog from my bowl. And thanks again to Thrive Market for sponsoring this video. I love being able to showcase how I use some of my go-to Thrive Market items in all of these recipes. And don't forget, if you want to check out Thrive Market, you can go to thrivemarket.com/shoemaker to get 30% off of your first order and a free gift worth up to $60. This looks so good. I'm so hungry. So good night, goodbye, have a lovely day, whatever time of day it is for you, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Bye.